Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and Halloween is upon us again.
Woo!
Yes, and
Best day ever. Best day ever.
last year we did What is the Worst Halloween Part 2, so it only makes sense that this year we discuss What is the Worst Halloween Part 3. Today, on this episode of Hack the Movies.
It's time to hack the movies.
So yes, Halloween Part 3.
Yay, Halloween 3! Halloween 3! Halloween 3!
Okay.
Halloween 3!
So Crystal once again forgot the continuity, so I had to explain it with the chart. So there are 4 films that are technically, actually there's only 3 that are technically a part 3. All right, so obviously there is Halloween 3, and you have these beautiful masks here.
Thank you, Fansley.
And of course, I have, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name, but the guy who makes all our duct tape stuff, I will put it in the thing. The mask he made of me is Michael Myers over there.
Michael Myers?
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
So, there's Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch.
Yes.
Which was the 3rd Halloween movie. But then there's Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which is part 3 in Michael Myers' story. Mm-hmm. And then there's Halloween H2O, which again is a part 3 in Michael Myers' story. And then, of course, we get to Halloween Kills, which is a part 3 in Michael Myers' story. Ironically, Halloween 3 is the only one that is not a part 3.
So
Hold on.
Oh.
Yes, Johanna, can I help you? We're in the middle of filming.
Johanna!
Oh, I know.
Johanna, what the hell?
So you know we're filming, and you decided to call. What's up?
Yes, I want attention. I was wondering, am I supposed to be filming with you actually tomorrow? Or...
Yes.
What are you guys filming?
Okay. Well, what time?
I assumed you'd do it after work around 6. That's when I told her to be here.
Why don't you put me and Johanna in episodes anymore?
He hates us. He hates the attention we get.
I know, that's very true. That's very, very true.
Like,
Johanna.
the reason I made a post today that was kind of like a self-deprecating post about myself, and everybody's like attacking Tony, and I'm like, wait, why is everybody attacking Tony?
As they should.
Because it's Boys Month.
Fuck Boys Month.
Johanna, I don't know why the views went down during Boys Month. I gave everyone what they wanted after I accidentally liked Barbie.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you think the audience will think twice before they call me a feminist? Because they know now I will kick all the women off the channel.
Or you can just, like, not care and do whatever the hell you want with your own channel.
That's impossible. We got to get back to this episode.
Johanna, I miss you.
Okay, have fun, bye.
So, ironically, Halloween 3 is the only one that's not a part 3. Yes, so we're going to go through all of these films and try to figure out which one is the worst Halloween 3.
And I just have to explain, like, yes, it's... When I texted you earlier, I kept thinking, like, part of the trilogy. And that's why I kept getting confused. I was like, wait, no, it's Halloween Ends would be it's the 3rd one. So I had to I kept forgetting. Yeah. It has to be the original is technically 1.
Halloween
Can you show the chart?
Yes.
You're showing the chart.
I will show the chart. Halloween
the chart. I'm a visual
Ends
person.
is technically part 3 of that trilogy, but when you factor in the original, which it's connected to, it's part 4 overall. Yes. So anyway, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch. Would you like to read the back of the box there?
The box?
You have the Blu-ray.
Oh, you said box.
Whatever. It's box, cover, whatever.
Best Halloween movie ever. It is fantastic in every way possible.
That's not what it says on the back.
John Carpenter's Halloween, The Thing, presents the 3rd chilling film in the Halloween franchise. When a terrified toy salesman is mysteriously attacked and brought to the hospital, babbling and clutching the year's most popular Halloween costume, an eerie pumpkin mask, Dr. Daniel Chalice, Tom Atkins, the Fog Night of the Creeps, go Tom Atkins, so hot, is thrust into terrifying Halloween nightmare. Working with the salesman's daughter, Ellie, who's smoking hot, Stacy and Elkin, Daniel traces the mask to the Silver Shamrock novelties. A 4 days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. And its founder, Connell. Is it Connell?
I think they say Conal Cochran.
Conal Cochran. Daniel. How do you say his last name?
Oh, Hurley.
Oh, Hurley. RoboCop. Ellie and Daniel
Uncover Cochran's shocking Halloween plan.
and must stop him before trick-or-treaters across the country are kept from ever coming home in this terrifying thriller from writer-director Tommy Lee Wallace, Stephen King's It.
You know what's funny? These are both Scream Factory, and that was more or less what's on the back of this box,
sweet.
but like
That's
worded
awesome.
slightly differently. Like
like
they
it.
slightly worded it differently.
Yeah.
Yes, Halloween 3. Now, famously, this is the one that everyone hated when it came out.
Because Michael Myers
Because
is
Michael
not in it.
Myers isn't in it. Where's Michael Myers? Because Halloween 2 had Michael Myers, even though he died, and Donald Pleasance died, and everyone died.
Everyone's dead.
They wanted more Michael Myers. So they
And-
put this out. I
What
listened
was
to
this supposed to be? This was supposed to be
part of
like-
an anthology
Yes,
series.
thank you.
Which I think if they had done it with Halloween 2, would have been fine.
Yes.
But they waited till the third one, and it didn't work out. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I didn't like it. Because I was like, where's Michael Myers? But there were things I liked in it, because I was like, the Colonel Cochran. I'm like, that's the old man from RoboCop. And there's robots in this movie.
Were you, how old were you? Because you sound like you're 2. Or, intelligent 2. I'd say, okay, fine,
That's
5.
me as a kid. For some reason, it's just loud man is my kid voice.
Loud man as you was a kid?
Loud man who states the obvious is my little kid voice. I don't know why that happened. So yeah, as far as I could tell, this is the third best movie with that actor in robots. Obviously, RoboCop 1 and 2 is better. I would definitely watch those way more. I do like that actor, though. He shows up in Twin Peaks and
He's
whatnot.
actually really good.
I do love Tom Atkins. I love Tom Atkins. Yeah, so when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. I was like, what's going on? As I got older, watched it a few more times. I'm like, okay, if I separate the Halloween thing, I enjoyed it a little bit more. But it is kind of actually fun to watch those first 3 together because so many of the people who worked on the first 2 came over. Like Tommy Lee Wallace worked behind the scenes on the first 2. He came over here. The music by Alan, was it Alan Holworth?
Oh my goodness, the music's phenomenal.
John Carpenter and Alan Holworth,
Yeah.
who would end up doing the music for the next few. Really, really good. Really solid.
And even just the theme song, like the jingles, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like very catchy.
Which is all Tommy Lee Wallace. I listened to the commentary and he talked about how like the first like Halloween, he did all the voices on the radio.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he would like edit, he would go down and just record
Yes.
it. So he continued that. They brought Dean Cundy back. It's still in that nice widescreen ratio. It's a nice looking movie.
I think it's shot very nicely.
Yeah.
I think the acting in it is very good.
Yeah.
And there is, of course it's going to have its flaws. I do think it's a little slow. I can
see it being, it's not very scary.
It's not scary. There's like the middle chunk, I feel like, kind of takes its time where it could be a little rough. Like once they hit the hotel,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, we can speed it up a little
Although
bit.
it's cool when that girl lasers her face off. That's another thing. It is a jump to go from man is stabbing people to lasers. And also, so like they're trying to the idea was like to bring witchcraft into like
Yes.
the computer age.
Which I think is fascinating.
Yes, it's an interesting idea. I like that Cochrane is apparently like hundreds of years old or something.
Yeah.
He's a warlock.
But it doesn't show so well. It doesn't
Yeah.
translate very well of, okay, because you're like, oh, season of the witch, there's going to be tons of witches and this and that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't translate as well. It's kind of just takes you on a journey. I think
Yeah.
for this one, like you got to not think so much into it and just kind of enjoy the ride.
And I mean, his plan is like, I'm sorry, his plan is kind of stupid.
Oh, it's really dumb.
It's like, here's my plan. I'm going to make 3 types of masks. And then kids are going to buy these masks. And I'm going to play a commercial when Halloween 1 is playing on TV. So this is a separate universe. It's not even like it's a story in the same universe.
No, yeah.
It's a separate universe.
Yeah.
Halloween is a movie within this universe. And when they listen to the commercial, their heads will turn into bugs and snakes and spiders.
It sounds great to me though.
And it's like, okay, well, you're going to have like a bunch of dead kids. are the snakes and spiders supposed to kill? I know they kill the parents in this movie when they test it, but that's because the parents were locked in the
they're
room.
in the room.
I'm sorry, if you put that mask on and a snake came out, I'd be like, ah! I'd be running away.
They're just trying to kill, like, I guess, like a generation.
I guess, but like not every kid is wearing these
also,
masks.
No, but it also does cause havoc and it causes fear, which is
I
just
guess.
something different. I don't think they're trying to murder the world. I don't think they're trying to. I
But
think
also-
they're trying to make a point and just cause chaos.
But also, what about time zones?
Well,
Eventually, someone's going to call the East Coast and be like, hey, every time that commercial plays, kids turn into bugs and spiders. Maybe don't play that commercial.
well, unless it's all being played at the same time. I mean, live TV.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it would all probably be
I don't
at
know.
the same time.
The plan is a little weird. Again, it is a jump. I could see why audience felt alienated. If it was a movie about
Sure.
witches, sure. But it's not just witches. It's just we went from man with knife, and now we're evil businessman who is a warlock stole a brick from Stonehenge and is putting pieces of Stonehenge in a button on the mask.
Yes.
That if you touch too much, a laser will shoot out.
Yes.
And then a signal will send in and turn your face into bugs and spiders.
Yes.
I'm like, man, that's a lot for us to take in.
But it's really cool.
Oh, by the way, there's also robots everywhere. And one of them is Dick Warlock, who was Michael Myers in part 2, who I have an autograph of, and I just didn't put on set.
Way to go. Way to ruin everything.
Remind me for Freddy vs. Jason to bring my Jason autograph down.
If I remember, sure.
We're also reviewing Freddy vs. Jason. Anyway, so Halloween 3, you love this one.
I do. I find it fun. When a lot of people are like, "Oh, you only like it because it's a cult classic and
You're
it's
being a
hype and blah,
hipster.
blah, blah." Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I actually truly
You're
do
like
love this.
you're like I was when I was 12 and thought Curse of Michael Myers was the best thing ever. Now I'm older. I'm like, wow, why did I like that piece of shit so much?
Yeah. Well, for me, I think it kind of reminds me of one of the movies I was absolutely obsessed with as a kid was the Goosebumps The Mask episode.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a good
movie.
one.
I have it on VHS. It's
I had it on
absolutely my
VHS
favorite.
too.
I want the mask so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I know people sell it, and I haven't gone around. I want to buy it because it's going to creep me the fuck out.
Yeah. I never
it will creep
watched
me out.
the new Goosebumps movies.
I
with
didn't
Jack Black.
either.
I hear they're fine.
Really? I would
Yeah.
like to watch them.
They're not like anthologies. It's just like the monsters from the books are in the real world, which is
Yeah.
kind of what the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark did.
It is, yes. But I think it's just that feeling
Mm.
also just having that, but as an adult version almost.
Yeah.
I know they're different stories, but having that mask, I think these are such cool masks. in
They are
general.
an awesome
I think
design.
They're so awesome. The jingle,
Mm-hmm.
it's a movie I can get sucked in. Sure, it's not a Halloween, but it's a movie. I take it out of the franchise, and I truly enjoy it as a movie itself.
Honestly, it's the 3. If they had just called it Halloween Season of the Witch, it might have done better.
No, I don't. I still don't agree that. I think it would just be. I mean, maybe, and then they could have continued doing like Halloween.
And then you could just be like, well, this is like a different Halloween. But you put 3, you expect part 3 of the
You
story.
do. And the thing is, they did put Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she was the voice.
It was voice and there's the video of her.
And yeah, she's on the
The
screen.
screen.
Yeah, Lisa Dean Cundy came back. What's her face? The girl you played.
Yeah.
Nancy Loomis, who I think is now Nancy Keys.
Nancy Keys,
She
yes.
comes back as a different actress,
Yep.
or a different character in this film. Here's the thing with the movie. The funny thing is, like, I really love the characters in the first Halloween. The second one, the nurse and whatnot, I don't really care about them. But in this one, it's like, look, I love Tom Atkins, but his character makes no sense to me. It's
Oh,
like,
no, not at all.
He's like, I hate my wife.
Yes.
I'm sleeping with my staff.
That sex scene's pretty intense.
This
though.
girl's dad died. And I think I'm just gonna hang out with her because I might get laid. Like he doesn't really have.
But he died.
He has no personal investment in this other than,
No.
well, that guy died wearing a mask and his daughter is upset and she's pretty fucking hot. So I better help her. I'm like, dude, what the hell? I would just be like, man, that's crazy, right? Well, you got a lot of funeral arrangements to plan for. I'm not going to hang out with her,
I
but
don't
he
know.
just needs to get laid.
And I don't. It doesn't seem like in the movie. Like it seems like he has so much charisma. I don't think he'd
Mm-hmm.
have trouble getting laid by anyone.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like he's just that. Because you see the way other women talk to him, it's not
Yeah.
like there's something about
Yeah.
him. I don't know, but it's Tom Atkins.
Yeah. I like the robots. They're pretty cool. I did like the original ideas that they would all be like redheads or blonde to make sure they were like from Ireland, but then it didn't work out that way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't want all redhead villains in your Halloween movie?
No, I would actually love that. All redheads are evil.
Yeah, it's a fun film. It's actually about Halloween. I know that's been said many times. And they made sure to mention that in the director's commentary, which is on the beautiful 4K release.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually about Halloween. Because Halloween 1 and 2 isn't really about Halloween. It's just because it wasn't originally going to be.
Yes.
It's just they thought it'd be a cool
murders,
yeah, it'd be cool, a cool setting for it. No, I actually really, really like the film. I mean, it is still pretty stupid. Like, I'm not like you or some of the other people that are like, it's an unappreciated masterpiece.
No,
like,
I don't say that. I don't say that.
I'm like, I can
no.
see it be like, oh, it wasn't appreciated, it's underrated, but people are like, it's a masterpiece, it's so great. I'm like, no, it's still pretty stupid.
I would never say that. I would never say like, oh, there's not many movies I would actually say, oh, this is a masterpiece or this is great. It's my opinion of saying, I really like this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I do. I really love it. I love the adventure I go on. Is it a masterpiece? No. Is it really great? No. No, but it doesn't mean I don't love this film.
I will say it is edited well. One thing I like Tommy Lee Wallace was talking about, like when they were editing Halloween. You know how the end of Halloween is just like the static shots of all the locations from the film and Michael breathing?
Yeah.
He was talking about how like he got those shots like from before they slayed it, and they kind of like made that in post. So that's why there's a lot of shots in this of like the town, just these static shots of the town because he liked how that worked.
Really
God!
Oh, can't have nice things. Whoa, he's in half.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah. I've glued him together so many times. Yeah, so like he liked that. So yeah, the movies kind of play well. And one of the scenes I really like is when Cochran is talking about his plan. And then as he's like leaving, the theme from the first Halloween starts playing on the TV. The dun, dun. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to tie it together.
Yes.
Happy Halloween.
I could see why people didn't like it at the time.
Sure.
I could see why Universal might have been a little upset because they gave him control and everything.
Sure.
But yeah, I see what John Carpenter was trying to do. And I heard that like John Carpenter was like one of those producers that it's like kind of hands off. Like with its directors, he doesn't kind of like handhold the directors.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant from like the actual production.
No,
he has a lot of input and a lot of control within it.
But like they said he wasn't like on set every day unless he like really needed to be.
Because that's what I like though. He hires directors that he can trust. And you don't want to micromanage your directors because now you're taking their creativity.
I appreciate when directors become producers. Like
yes, I do too.
I mean, freaking David Lynch kind of got a start because Mel Brooks produced Elephant Man for him, and he was director and he was kind of hands off. There are sometimes it works. And sometimes you do what Christopher Nolan did, where you're like, yeah, Zack Snyder, I'll let you make Superman, and I won't give you many notes. And it's like, oh, no, you've made a horrible money pit for Warner Brothers. What a terrible idea. But yeah, so it's a hit or miss.
There's a difference, though. But there's a difference when there's more of, and I'm going to say this in our episode when we do Freddy vs. Jason, it's one of the things where you can tell where there's passion involved in the project. When you actually can see that there's directors and the producers, they care about it versus making money and making a spectacle or something like that. Yeah. There is a difference. I think there's a big difference between the passion projects and just money-making movies.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as much anymore.
And I like that it has found an audience now.
It has.
And people are enjoying it. I do like that Tommy Lee Wallace was talking about like he wanted the 3 in the title to represent the masks, but it never really jived.
Oh, is that what it was?
He was like, yeah, because like I really didn't want to call it Halloween 3, so I tried to justify that the Halloween 3 would be the masks, and it didn't work.
No.
But yeah, it's a fun movie to watch. Not all of it makes sense. Why does the robot lady? She's revealed to be a robot at the very end, but she helps stop the master plan, and that doesn't really make sense. But yeah, check it out. Now we've talked about this for a little bit. If you want to hear us talk more about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, I believe in 2021 we did a commentary track for it.
Was I in it?
Yes.
Is it 2021?
I believe it was 2021.
I blacked out that year.
Yes, we did a commentary track for it. And it is on Patreon. So you can, and it was actually right after I bought it on 4K. So yeah, it was a beautiful, by the way, beautiful transfer.
Cool.
The 4K. I mean, that also looks good. The Blu-ray release.
Yeah,
it's by the same
really
company.
Good. Yeah.
But
actually, a fan of Hack the Movies gave me this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I can't remember who gave. Fuck, I'm a horrible horrible person. But thank you so much. Like, this actually meant a lot to me. So thank you so much for giving this to me. I really love it.
Okay, so Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, that was it. So the movie comes out. People aren't thrilled. Mustafa Akkad's not thrilled.
Yeah. So what do we do?
And that's the thing. Halloween kind of didn't start, but it popularized and caused an explosion of slasher films. Mm-hmm. So it was weird that you have like all these Jason movies and stuff coming out, and they're like, we're going to do this thing about a wizard and some masks. Meanwhile, you got Jason hacking people up, Freddy's hacking people up, Leatherface is bouncing around here and there. So finally, they were like, we got to bring Michael Myers back.
Yep.
We got to bring Michael Myers
Yeah.
back. So they did Halloween 4.
So we bring Michael Myers back. Who do we not bring back then?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which again is part 3 in Michael Myers' story. They really should have just called this Halloween, The Return of Michael Myers. It's weird that they put a 4 in there, but I will read the back of the box. I'm going to read the VHS
Do it.
instead of the one. Okay. He changed the face of Halloween. Tonight, he's back. On a dark Halloween night 10 years ago, Michael Myers brought fear back to his hometown as he murderously stalked Laurie Strode. Terror and bloodshed ravaged the quiet neighborhood until the killer was captured and locked up. And now, again, if you watched Halloween 2 and you read that, you go, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, didn't happen.
What? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
But tonight, as he was being transferred from Richmond Mental Institute, Michael escaped. Now he's looking for his young niece as his reign of terror continues. Horror has returned to Haddonfield. Directed by Dwight H. Little, who has directed a bunch of films.
Can't have nice things. You love trash here.
I don't sit there ever. Someone else.
Someone loves trash here. Who drinks
is it?
Diet Coke?
Kevin from Peg Warmers.
Kevin.
You left a Diet Coke behind the counter.
I love you, Kevin. I like Kevin. He's okay. He gets a pass.
I'm throwing all my toys away as a protest. Kind of like how I kicked all you girls off the channel for Boys Month. This is no Toys Month. I'm getting rid of all of it.
You can't do that. It's Halloween.
Yeah, so directed by Dwight H. Little, who does a lot of TV stuff, but he has directed a bunch of films. I think he directed the live-action Tekken movie. Did you even know there was a Tekken movie? Yeah, that makes sense. Written by Alan B. McElroy. Now, there are other people credited for the story, but he was mostly the writer. They had to rush this baby out because of a looming writer's strike, which we've talked about many times.
What's a writer's strike? That's a thing?
We're living through another one right now. But yes, they basically were like, oh, we got to get a Michael Myers movie out. We got to do it for cheap, but also we got to write it pretty fast because there's a writer's strike about to come up. We talked about the writer's strike when we did Batman 89, how like that movie kind of goes a little weird in the third act. Yeah, so that's why it's kind of basically just the first one. It's a very safe movie.
Yeah.
It's a very safe Halloween movie. How do you feel about the setup where Michael and Loomis just survived?
So I have a question.
Yes.
What part of the second one transferred over?
The sister stuff and the fact that he got burnt in the hospital.
But that's it. So they do mention the hospital, but
Yeah.
like, why does the ending, like, we just forget the ending?
Well, yeah, the ending made it clear that they both died.
So we just say fuck the ending.
But yeah,
We
I
took
guess
everything.
we missed a scene where people came in with fire extinguishers and went, Loomis is alive. And even though he was right next to the explosion, only the side of his face got burned.
So we're doing ending of H2O into Resurrection kind of feel.
Resurrection. Especially you want to shit on that movie. Put more thought into it than this one did.
You're
Where this
not-
one's
you're
like,
not
hey, he's
wrong.
just alive.
Yeah, at least they came up with a reason why the ending is different. But for this, it's like, okay, cool, we'll take the whole movie, but like that last ending part.
Then he set him on fire. Both of them nearly burned to death.
Did you notice Loomis's burns change?
Yes.
They were making fun of it in the commentary.
Like,
there's
what?
one that's called the button burn.
Yes, I can't stand that because it looks so weird. It's in the very beginning.
Yes. So that was
Like
early in the production.
Yeah, that's the first shot you see. I think
Yeah.
you see of him, and you're just like,
Yeah,
It's
he
kinda
has like a little button. They realize that wasn't good, so the burn just changes throughout the film. So yeah, the story is they were moving Michael to another thing. Michael's in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
He hears that he has a niece, and that wakes him up from his coma, I guess.
Yep, in the van.
So
or
if
whatever.
if they just never mentioned the niece, would he have just been sleeping till he died?
Oh yeah, they said the magical word. It's like a spell.
Right. He's like,
Yeah.
well, I gotta kill my niece.
Oh my God, there's family members.
I gotta. I guess he was sad because he didn't get to kill his sister. She died in a car accident.
Which is just the most random shit ever.
What you think? You think Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna come back for another Halloween?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, so he kills the people in the ambulance. They added extra gore in post, like the thumb through the head.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. They did add a little bit of gore, but not a lot, considering what was coming out at that time, like the
No.
Nightmare on Elm Streets and shit. I feel like this came out the same time, like the same year as like maybe Nightmare 4 and Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3, because there's a
Yeah.
picture of like all those actors together
Really?
in their outfits because they were kind of making them at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, I would love to. I haven't
think
seen
there,
that photo.
I think there was like a Fangoria shoot. I will look up the picture.
I want that photo.
So yeah, Michael's got to go to town to meet his niece, Jamie Lloyd, played by Daniel Harris.
Woo-woo. Would you say really quick though? Would you
Yeah.
say that this film has the least amount of gory kills? This one, or maybe not exciting kills?
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing, really. I like that it was a little bit restrained.
Really?
I like it. Also, one thing I really like about this
Mm-hmm.
is that this actually feels like the Midwest because they filmed it in Utah, like outside Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Unlike the first two, where it's like, this is clearly California. This is clearly California. Good opening title sequence. A lot of people love the opening title sequence of this, where it's like the shots of like the farm and the different decorations.
Yes.
And they don't
I
really
really
use,
do like that.
They have a lot of restraint with the Halloween theme. They only use the Halloween theme here and there. The do-do-do. They have it when they take him out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Move him.
And
You're right.
there's
You're
a
right. I
few
didn't
other
realize that.
times. Yeah. So yeah, he's on his way to kill his niece, who is Daniel Harris, who is now a horror icon.
So was it just random that there's an ambulance right outside the window when she's staring out the window?
I think that's like part of a dream.
It's not part of it. She's staring out the window.
Yeah, but they're like maybe
was just
connected a
randomly
little bit. They explore the psychic connection in the next one.
That I know.
Yeah.
That I know.
I
But
think it's
just
a
like it was just like so. I was like, is that? There's a few things where I'm like, I
think
know I'm like I legit just said I do not question much of Halloween 3, and I'm questioning a lot of Halloween 4.
Because she has like a dream sequence later on, so it kind of
She's
makes
like,
sense.
oh, do you love me? Am I your sister? But I'm not your real sister.
Yeah.
That scene, I'm just like,
yeah, she's sad that her parents are dead.
and it is really, it is. I mean, what was it? 11 months after
Yeah.
her parents died.
Yeah, so it's
Like,
been
oh,
less than a year.
shit. Yeah.
Wow, Michael, all that work you did, all you had to do was wait for a car crash. Anyway, I'll bring that point up if we ever get to Halloween 6. The opening credits and that. The opening narration doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so yeah, she's very sad. She's living with a foster family.
Yep.
And she's having these visions of the boogeyman. So she's aware who Michael Myers is too. We should mention that. Like the kids make her very well aware. And again, this is a thing I only see in movies. When the bullies bully a kid over having a dead parent. I've never seen that in real life.
No.
Her mom is dead. Jamie's mommy's a mommy.
I feel like it's just a movie thing. Let me know.
Has anyone part of that dead parent club and got made fun of? Because yeah, I don't.
Oh, why would I talk to them? I want to talk to the bullies. Have you bullied someone for having a dead parent?
Got you.
Hey, you not know my audience? Yeah, so if you're a bully and you bullied someone over dead parents, let me know if you did that. Because I think it's just a movie thing. I've seen people bullied for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I've been bullied for a lot of things, which made me a bully, and I was pretty good when I bullied people for a lot of things, but never a dead parent. That feels like it's too far,
No.
right?
I was bullied, and my parents are they're still kicking. Yeah, I was made fun of for a lot of other things.
They're kicking, but are they forgiven yet?
Why would no?
She still hasn't forgiven her father. No. One day.
Nope.
When's Father's Day? We're going to do it. We're going to do a vlog where I go to your dad's house.
Good luck. Oh, the things I could say right
I'll
now.
dress up as you. I'll be like, it's me, your daughter, Crystal. We look alike.
He'd be like, oh yeah, because I don't see her that often. Like, you definitely look like her.
Hey, what's up, Dad? It's been a rough couple months.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not shocked at
I
that.
packed on a few pounds anyway. I forgive you. And it'll be like, wow, it changed my life. Anyway, so yeah.
Does that mean I get your dad?
Huh?
Do I get your dad?
Good luck. So her sister Ellie is upset that she has to babysit because she wants to sleep with her boyfriend. But
Well,
don't worry,
Leslie
he's
was
got a
so
backup. He's got a backup.
Yeah.
And apparently there was nudity of that chick
There was?
that was cut out of the movie. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I remember Joe Bob said it on his show that he remembers seeing nudity, but the director said that, like, it was shot, but he doesn't think it ever made it into a cut. So if it exists, let me know.
Yeah.
Of course, when I did hear that, I did immediately Google that actress and then type nude. And apparently there's a picture of like her with Barbara Crampton both topless. And
Oh,
I'm like, well,
shit.
this in their prime. And I'm like, this is pretty good.
That's nice. Oh, I love Crompton.
Yes, she's good.
Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah, so the whole thing is Jamie is being stalked. And I like how they're trying to do parallels. Like, she also gets a clown outfit.
It's interesting that she's so Michael, just a random vision of him in the clown outfit, but she's frightened.
Mm-hmm.
And she still continues to buy that outfit. Like, she's still excited to wear that.
Yeah. I used to be afraid to rent tapes that had scary covers, and I did it anyway.
But it wasn't your murderous uncle.
Well, that's true. Well, I don't know if she knows about the clown part. She just knows her uncle killed people.
No, she legit saw that in her brain, didn't
Yeah,
she?
well well, I don't know.
And she knows Michael Myers is her uncle, right?
Yeah, and then she sees
And then he
Michael
kills him.
Myers and he pushes her into a mirror.
Yeah, why didn't he just kill her then?
Yeah, isn't that the whole point?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, before that though, I do like the whole like side story of Loomis chasing Michael. I love the whole scene with them in the garage.
The
Which-
garage, the rest, or the whatever.
Which was
it is
referenced in
afterwards.
2018, the whole garage thing about him getting a new outfit. And I love that he still has like the bandages, which
Yeah.
really 10 years later, I don't think he would have bandages still. Feel like your face, it'd be mangled, but it'd be healed.
And they look like fresh bandages too. Like what? Wait,
Yeah.
why are they so fresh after that accident and all the blood? Why is his outfit so clean? And
I don't know, but also, why are they like, I'm trying to think, why would he have bandages? Because it's too
he's
too
in a
late to
coma
have that.
after,
And I doubt they're doing
10 years.
plastic surgery on him. I don't think they do cosmetic surgery on serial killers who are in comas.
If they did, well, my ass is about to start killing. All right.
But yeah, I do like that whole thing where they blew up the gas station.
Yeah.
So he's hunting
I'm pretty
him.
happy that outfit just magically fit him too. Like he's
Yeah.
a big dude.
He
Like,
always manages to find the right outfit.
Yeah, him and Jason.
Yeah.
Somehow they both are
always
like, hey,
find someone who's the same size.
so crazy.
Now, Michael does get a new mask, and I know you're looking at the VHS tape, which is clearly the mask from the first film, but it
Yeah.
is not. How do you feel about the Halloween 4 mask? I think it's on this one here. Actually, that looks better than what's in the
It
movie.
does. It does. I was just looking at it. Yeah, is it on this one?
Yeah, it's on the
no,
back,
that's
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about his mask? It's definitely the worst one.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I can justify it by saying, well, first of all, my thoughts just went all over the place because I was going to say, why would we have a mask of a serial killer like that in that town? But then again, we go to Spirit Halloween, we have a lot of masks of serial killers. Too.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? That does make sense.
Well, remember, it didn't start off as the Michael Myers mask. That was a mask he stole.
Yes. But
So
you
it-
would think that they would take, like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a tragic thing. You would take it off the shelves. But, I
Well,
mean,
well,
in
let's-
reality, we
let's
still
keep in
don't
mind,
do that
it's been
kind of
10
stuff.
years. It only happened once. It's not
Oh,
like...
yeah, because the second one's a continuing of that day.
Yeah.
So.
It's not like if Halloween 6 they were still doing it. It's like, oh, God, this is a little tasteless now because he's done this a lot.
True, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because I'm
Yeah.
sure plenty of murderers have worn
Yeah.
weird masks and shit.
So,
But yeah, and he just pulls it right off. Like,
yeah, it's not a good mask. They were talking
maybe
about how,
it
like,
was just like a cheap mask because it was like a like a mart, whatever. They're like, oh, we have the best costumes. Blah, blah, blah. It's
and I
like,
get,
yeah.
look, the first one worked really well.
Yeah.
The Shatter mask on what's-his-face, Nick Castle, worked really, really well. It
Yeah.
matched up really well. They put that same mask on Dick Warlock, and it didn't look the same because, you know, people's head shapes are different.
Yep.
So they molded it to George P. Wilbur, who was Michael Myers in this, who's like a bigger stunt dude. And yeah, I guess they modified it to a certain point, and it just doesn't look great.
It doesn't. My only thing is it's a knockoff of that mask.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like you go to like a dollar store,
Yeah.
Party City, and like there's the cheap version of that mask, and you're just like,
Well, that's the annoying thing. Now you can get a really good Michael Myers mask.
yeah.
Yes. Back then, every Halloween, like I had the special order the Resurrection mask just because I wanted one that looked like it was from the movie. Because when you went to stores, they all looked like this piece of shit.
Well, or you can go on Amazon. Didn't we get a horrible Michael Myers mask? Did Michael Myers? Why don't we have
Michael Miles?
Michael Miles here?
Because
What
the
hell?
dummy we used for Michael Myles
R.I.P.?
didn't survive the Die
R.I.P.
Hard parody.
Damn it, we have to get a new one.
Go on Patreon, look up the bloopers from our Die Hard
Oh,
parody.
that was hilarious.
When you get through Crystal flubbing her line, you'll get to the montage of us throwing the dummy off the building and its head just exploding. I do have a blow-up doll that I want to try to use in
Of course you have a blow-up
place of
doll.
that.
Okay.
I haven't tested it out yet, though.
That's funny.
Yeah, actually, speaking of masks, did you see the one scene where the mask changed? So when they're in the school and Loomis tries to save Jamie and Michael throws Loomis, it's like a pink mask with blonde hair. So they lost, for some reason, the production, they lost the mask. I heard multiple...
Wait, in this and Halloween 4?
Yeah,
When
I
they're-
heard
say it
multiple
again, When they're in
stories.
the school, you said?
Yeah, when she goes to hide in the school for a little bit. That's where she bumps into Loomis, and then Michael throws
Yes.
Loomis through a window.
Yes.
So I finally got it confirmed on the commentary yesterday. So they were filming, the mask got misplaced, but they couldn't stop filming. So they had like an unfinished one that was pink with blonde hair, and they used it for that shot. So like, there's a scene where Michael is just suddenly blonde for no reason. So it's very awkward. But yeah, this movie overall, it has an awkward setup with him surviving the fire.
Yeah.
But again, this is after how many Jason movies? So at this point, audience is probably like, yeah, sure, he survived, whatever. But it mostly just feels safe.
It's a very safe movie.
It doesn't really rewrite anything, doesn't try to rethink anything. It's just Michael Myers is back. He does some cool, he kills the whole police force.
Yeah.
Which you don't see. I do like that sometimes they just show you the aftermath of a murder, which is also creepy. Like we don't see him kill that dog, we just see the dog dead. Although we do see poor Bucky get killed, the electrical worker.
That was sad. Poor baby.
Just like his hat says Bucky and his thing says Bucky. And there used to be, and I remember this, there used to be a Halloween fan site just called Bucky's Power Station. It was just a fan site. It was like a whole GeoCities page just dedicated to Bucky. I don't know why.
R.I.P. Bucky.
So he does some cool things. I like seeing the town gather around to try and kill him, which is then explored later on in another film, which we'll be talking about.
So I was confused when the whole crowd, the whole town's like, okay, we're going to go get him. Like, finally, like, going to put an end to this.
Mm-hmm.
And they shoot a kid. And I'm guessing it's because he was wearing, they never show him.
They never show him.
They just see.
They do establish earlier that there are people wearing Michael Myers outfits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is just dumb because, okay, the cops are clearly looking for Michael Myers because they're
Well, at that
frightened.
point, I don't know if they were.
No, they because they had the gun and they're like because they had to
Oh,
usher the kid
yeah.
in,
I don't know
like-
if the curfew was brought up yet at that point. I'm not sure.
I think they did. I think they yelled like, "Oh yeah," because they yelled. They said, "Get
Oh,
home."
okay,
There's
okay.
a curfew. Blah blah. I think. But you would think those kids, but who knows? Maybe it's another kid.
Yeah.
But you don't see the kid wearing a mask. They just see a bush move.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I think I saw it."
Yeah. And then they just
And then
open
they just
fire.
start. Oh yeah, exactly.
And again, this idea is used later on in another film.
But they clearly know that there's other kids dressed up as this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's messed up. They were all paranoid. They thought they found him.
But then you don't hear anything. Like I think they bring it up. They're like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
No, well, no, at the end, the little militia, they're like, yeah, you know what? We should let the cops figure it out. It's like, also because we killed a guy on accident. We should probably get out of town. Yeah.
How is there not like the cops are? I get it. You're very obsessed with finding Michael Myers right now because there's gonna be a lot of murders. But like, one of the kids just died. This group of men just murdered a kid. We're just gonna gloss right over that.
Also, I mean, did Dr. Loomis never get in trouble for killing Ben Tramer in part 2? He's kind of responsible for that.
Why are we only? Yeah, there's.
He never never shows remorse for getting that kid killed.
No.
It's
Yeah, you just see all
100%.
these innocent people.
It's 100% Dr. Loomis's fault.
How many people in these? Now I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I want all the accidental deaths now. I want to explore those because how many horror films were they like, oh my god, I think that's the murderer, and like, boo boo boo.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that was actually
Yeah.
someone else. I want to explore. You know what? We need memorial movies for those for those victims.
We'll do a memorial service for them.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think the strong suit in here is Donald Pleasance. He's really good coming back. Daniel Harris is really good. I can see why
She's actually really good. Yeah.
she ended up being in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, a couple of Free Willy movies, bunch of Disney Channel movies, and then she returned to horror.
Yes.
With Urban Legend, and we talked about her recently in our underrated Final Girls, the Hatchet movies, where I showed my autograph of her, and then the picture of her autographing the picture of
I think that's hilarious. What was she in before this, though? I don't remember.
Not much, I think.
I think that cat, like,
That might be her first movie. I don't know if she did TV or anything before that.
She, for a child actor, she did really freaking well for
Yeah,
that kind of
she's
role.
really convincing in it.
She is.
Yeah, so I can see why people like it. It's safe. It's kind of by the numbers.
But what do you think of the ending?
That's the thing. The one thing that sets this apart from a lot of it is the really good ending. So
Really
they
good ending?
blow Michael Myers away. They shoot the hell out of him. They don't use dynamite. You didn't see any dynamite in this movie, right?
No.
Yeah. Kind of makes the opening of 5 a little confusing. Anyway.
What? No.
And then somehow the evil got transferred to Jamie. And I do like that they didn't do a lot of POV stuff in this. I think there's only like one scene early on. So we see a POV shot with the mask coming down. It's like, oh, did Michael survive? And it's like, no, apparently the evil has passed on to Jamie, who's also dressed as a clown. It's implied she killed her stepmom. And I love Donald Pleasance going, no.
As he's like about to shoot, and like the cop's
He
like,
is,
no.
He is about to shoot a
He's
child.
about to shoot her.
Like, I get where he's coming from, but he knows he should know that he's going to get in a lot of trouble if he followed through with that.
Why? The rest of the town did it. The rest of the town just shot up a kid.
I do appreciate that they have just a million people shooting Michael Myers. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Well, as we go through the season, like the series, how many people
Yeah.
can possibly shoot him?
So the ending is very, very good.
You think that's good?
You don't like this cliffhanger? Imagine you don't know what it was followed up with. Do you like this cliffhanger?
Maybe because I knew what it followed up with.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for that then. I cannot speak if I didn't know that because I think it's just one of those. Because I never saw it without knowing that, the fifth one.
Yeah. The fifth one kind of ruins this ending. But
Yeah, I think right now I just feel like it's cheap.
yeah. But no, I mean it's a solid enough movie. It's just like it's not anywhere near as good as the first one.
No.
And it's kind of unneeded. And there were so many other slashers to like choose from at that point. Like I know I've watched this a shit ton, and I do like that this one has a little bit of class to it. It wasn't as schlocky as some of the Friday the 13ths we're getting.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I'd rather watch like Friday the 13th Part 6 over this, to be honest.
Difference between
Any of the Freddy movies over this, really.
But would you agree that Halloween is very special to your classic 80s slashers? Because I was thinking about this on the drive here, and I'm like,
No, because he missed most of the 80s.
fine, I'll reword it. You're the classic slashers, right?
Yeah, he definitely influenced them, for sure.
Not just that. Now that's not where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Where I'm going with this is that this one actually has more of a storyline than any of the others.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because if you think about it, to me, the Friday the 13th, it's a story of Jason.
Yeah, it becomes a story of Jason. It's just who's Jason
And
going to
it's-
kill this week?
Exactly.
You have a little bit with Tommy Jarvis, but not really.
Yes. You have Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a little bit of a continuing of the story, but it's always a different set of kids.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
story is always there.
Yeah.
But it's a different group of kids, a different adventure. Sometimes they bled into it, but it's always a different adventure. You're not really seeing a continuing of their life.
Here with these first few, you have Dr. Loomis there. So we have him.
But Laurie is constantly mentioned.
Yes, and Laurie
You
is
don't see
mentioned.
that often.
Yeah.
Like even in Hellraiser. Like, you know, even
You're
though
right.
she
After
is-
they killed Nancy in Nightmare 3, no one ever fucking mentions Nancy. They show her
Yes.
tombstone at one point, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't see these people constantly being referred to or being called back. Even in freaking Halloween 3, you see Laurie. Like,
Yeah.
she is constantly being a callback to these films. It is a story of Laurie. And I do see Daniel Harris's character as a representation of Laurie in this. Ish, like of the like family blood or whatever you can go with, like being that family member. But this is the only one where it's not just about the killer, but it's about the family of the killer. It's about Laurie and Michael, which is why I have such a horrible, I can't stand Halloween Ends because of this reasoning.
Okay.
I mean, what?
We already reviewed Halloween
yes,
Ends.
so you can
and
see
we
that.
will probably also talk about it next year.
Yes.
Again.
But it's just one of those things where I feel like there's more of a story in this one.
Yeah.
Than any of the other slashers that I think even exist. Even, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't think of a story has this.
Watch our worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode. They like after 2, I feel like every single one is a reboot. Like none of them are really connected,
But what
except for like the 2 prequels, and that's it.
What other horror series do you know of that has this long of a storyline? And do you like that better, or do you? I feel like most people don't.
I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
that.
you're right. I don't know. It's a good question. Like even Hellraiser takes a break from Kirsty,
They do.
and then when they brought her back, it kind of sucked.
But it's not the continuing of her life.
Yeah. You're right.
It's always about Laurie and Michael
And the family.
and the family.
But I don't
Exactly.
really like the family aspect anymore, so
No.
so it doesn't really hold up for me. But yes, Halloween 4, it's decent enough, I guess. But it led to 2 very mixed sequels that we will talk about in the future.
Whoop.
So those don't work long term.
No, they don't.
And they're like, you know what? The 20th anniversary is coming up.
Bum bum bum. So what are you gonna call
How
it?
do we get Jamie Lee Curtis back? And someone said, I think we killed her off. And it's like, well, good news. No one watched the last movie or remembers any of them. So we're just going to ignore them. And we're going to bring back Jamie Lee Curtis.
Woo! She did not die in a car accident.
Did not for Halloween H2O. Would you like to read the back of
I
Halloween
would actually love
H2O?
to. This smart and suspenseful thriller scares up a bone-chilling good time with the original Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, True Lies, Halloween 1 and 2, and a hot cast of hip, young stars, ! Now, the head mistress of a private school, Laurie Strode Curtis, is still struggling with the horrifying 20-year memories of the
Maniacal killer?
Thank you. Maniacal. I don't think I've ever read the word maniacal before. You ever just like see words and you're like, I don't think I've ever seen that word spelled out before. Okay.
No, probably not as often as you.
I read a lot too, okay? I read a lot. I think I read it, like I know what it is, but I don't know how to say it. Like, okay, my brain. Maniacal killer Michael Myers when he suddenly reappears with vengeance! ! And this Halloween, his terror will strike a whole new generation. Laurie's rebellious son, Josh Hartnett, the faculty, his girlfriend, Michelle Williams, TV's Dawson Creek, and the school security guard, LL Cool J,
Yeah.
Woo, and BAPS, will become Michael's newest victims unless Laurie can conquer her greatest fears and put evil in its place for once and for all. The time has come once again for you to experience the frightening fun of Halloween, the motion picture series that will totally redefine terror. Jamie Lee Curtis, sexy, smart, and stunning.
Ooh.
The Los Angeles Times.
Ooh. So yes, Halloween H2O. Now, this was a big deal when it came out. Because again, 20th anniversary. Jamie Lee Curtis is back, baby. This is in the post-Scream era. I think Kevin Williamson worked on this. He worked on the story, but he didn't write the script.
But you do see Scream in it.
You do see Scream
Which
2 in
I
it.
I love that.
Fun fact.
Ooh.
Last year, I did a video breaking down the TV cut of this movie, which is a disaster. But in that review, I mentioned that I also watched the work print, which wasn't very different. There were only a few changes in the work print version. One of them was, instead of Scream 2, they're watching So I Married an Axe Murderer starring Mike Myers.
Oh, fuck. fuck, I love that. That is a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah.
I like. Shit, that's funny.
But here, I'm glad you mentioned Scream 2 because I brought this up a couple times.
Okay.
There's now a horrifying continuity error that breaks this universe.
Oh no.
Because in Scream 1, they're watching Halloween. But then in Halloween H2O, they're watching Scream 2. So what universe is the canonical Prime universe? It's just the reality would like warp in on itself. How can they both be fictional movies in each other's universe? It doesn't make sense.
Multiverse. It's the multiverse of horror. Holy shit, can we create a multiverse of horror?
I think Halloween has already done it because there's 5 goddamn timelines.
No, but with all the killers, like, yes, I know there's Jason versus Freddy versus Jason, but like.
And if you watch my Freddy's Dead episode, I talked about how that's also a multiverse because the TV show is in its own continuity.
Yes, and I know we did. What is it? What is it called? Cabin
in the Woods.
Thank you.
It's not really a multiverse thing, but it's
no, but it does take. If like all the characters were in, I mean, I know a lot of people hate that film, but I love seeing the cubes and all the monsters.
Why do people hate that film? We'll talk about that another time.
I would
love that
love to talk about that movie. But
yes.
I would love to see like how we're doing with all the Marvel and DC shit.
Yeah.
Let's do a horror
Let's
version.
do a multiverse horror film.
Yeah.
So Halloween H2O. Now this is the second one put out by Dimension Pictures, our good friends, the Weinsteins. They weren't really thrilled with how Halloween 6 turned out, so I think that's why they kind of threw caution to the wind. They got Jamie Lee Curtis back, but she regrets not being a producer on it. Also, she thought John Carpenter was coming back, and he wasn't. Actually, the director of this, funny enough, was Steve Miner, who did, I believe, Friday the 13th Part 2, and worked on a couple of those films. Yeah, she wanted to come back. She wanted to make sure she actually killed him. And they kind of like screwed her over. They kept saying like, oh, yeah. And there's a great interview with her being like, and then I kept reading, the van goes off the cliff and there's a fire and then it ends. She's like, when am I going to kill him? And they had to make a whole compromise, which I talked about in Halloween Resurrection when I reviewed that movie Dumpster. But yeah, I kind of like this film.
Yeah. What do you mean kind? Really? Interesting.
I've grown to like it less over the years.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just because over the years I love Halloween more and more and more. And then I kind of get annoyed with Halloween 2 with the whole sister thing. So this following up on that kind of taints it for me.
So you don't like the universe of this, is what you're saying?
No, but I like the idea of like a survivor coming back, which again, I talked about it last year. I like the 2018 kind of did this idea, but for me better, for me personally. But no, this was cool to see at the time. And I remember my cousin got to see it before me.
Okay.
And when she came home, I made sure she told me everything that happened in the movie because I couldn't wait. And then I forgot by the time I bought it on VHS or rented it on VHS.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
But yeah, so in this universe, Michael's disappeared. So he also survived the explosion in this universe and has no burns.
Yeah. He's not dead.
No.
No.
Has no burns.
No.
But also, Dr. Loomis survived the explosion in this universe, and he has died recently because he died in real life. So I think early scripts for this did include 4, 5, and 6 as canon, but they didn't dwell on the events.
You think so?
So I think that's why Loomis being alive, even though he clearly died in the explosion, I feel like that was left over from previous versions of the script. Also, your earrings are screwed up. Now the other ones. Okay. The white sides were showing. So I think little things were left over from that. Because it's like, why have Loomis be alive? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, he died right before the movie started. It's like, really? Because if I'm watching this right after 2, I feel like he died in that big fucking explosion.
But you think it has a little bit of 4, 5, and 6?
I don't think it has. The version we're watching has none.
Yes.
But I think it was written originally to have a little bit of that in there. Now, I'm going to take a little break here. Later this week, and I'm saying it so I have to do it, I will be reviewing a comic book I found that is a sequel to H2O, but it actually connects H2O to part 4, 5, and 6. It combines those universes. I found this comic. It's got a hell of an ending, and I will be reviewing that later this week.
But Is H2O... How? Is it before 4, 5, and 6?
No, H2O is its own thing. But there was a comic that tried to justify it and make it part of the universe, but
To
we're not
make
counting that.
H2O as a continuous?
Yeah, the guy who wrote Halloween 6 wrote a comic to try to combine it with H2O.
The
But the film
only-
itself is a part 3.
Wait. Do they say how old? Because I want to guess how he did this. Is it how old is Danielle Harris's character? Do they say? Or at least what grade she's in 4?
She's supposed to be, I think she was like 12 or 13, but I think she's playing 8 or 9.
That's what I'm curious. If that's
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be 10 years.
Yeah.
So she had her kid 2 years after all of that.
Yeah.
This is 20. She had a kid then.
I guess she kept her son and ditched the daughter.
That is the only thing I can think. But
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
no,
Anyway,
I'm trying to be like, oh, okay, maybe then she had another kid.
Look.
But he's 17. This is 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's
It doesn't make sense. Look, I will read the comic and I will do a nice breakdown of it and talk about how they try to connect these
I
universes.
was gonna say maybe she's just trying to like protect her daughter and say like, oh no, I die. Almost like a who did that? Which horror film did that? Where they said
This one?
No, where they said, oh, I'm gonna pretend like I never existed to save you.
I don't even know.
Or maybe it's not a horror movie. It was
I think that was in a Harry Potter, to be honest.
no, there
I
was.
think there was a Harry Potter movie where she
What am I
erases her
thinking
family.
of? Where the mother's like, "Oh, I said I was dead for all this time to protect you,"
I don't know. It could be any movie.
and then
really.
they went off. It literally could be any movie.
Okay. Back to H2O.
Oh yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, so Michael has survived. He is killing Nurse Marion, who's still around from the first 2 films. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, my co-star from The Dark Knight Rises, plays a young kid in this. He gets sliced up. They have on the porch, I think the previous film, because it was Dimension Pictures, which owned Hellraiser at the time, they put a bunch of nails inside of a pumpkin to be like Pinhead. But in this one of the decorations is the Chatterer demon from
Really?
Hellraiser.
I missed
Yeah.
that. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so Michael basically breaks in there, kills those kids, kills Marion to get the information on where Laurie is. Because I guess Dr. Loomis had information on where he knew that Laurie was a headmistress at a school under a different name.
That's very confusing. Why that?
And she faked her death. Yeah, why would he know that? Why would he care? Like,
Yeah.
It'd be better if he didn't know where she was and had no record of it.
Maybe because he's just so obsessed with this case, so he feels as if
Yeah.
he needs to know everything. But I feel like Gloria at this point, she keeps reliving these memories over and over. But for her to trying to escape, was it in California?
Yeah,
they are.
she's in California.
For her to go out like so far away, I don't know.
So far away from when the first movie was in Illinois. I do like the music in this, but it's a mixture of 2 people's scores.
Yeah.
John Ottman's score, and they decided they didn't want to use a lot of it, so they mixed it with Marco Beltrami, and I think some Scream music is in this.
Really?
John Ottman eventually released his full album, which you can get on Amazon Music. I listened to it, so you get to hear his version of the score. I like the beginning,
that's
though.
cool.
The opening credits, I do think they misspelled Donald Pleasant's name, if I remember right. That's a little rough. But they do the whole credits, but they show like Michael's still been killing for 20 years. They show like all these dead bodies and shit. Like he's still around.
Yeah.
And then they had a voice actor do Donald Pleasant's voice.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
So that was really cool. Then we meet Laurie Strode, who is now Carrie Tate. And I like they gave her the scar and everything. And she's now an alcoholic because she suffered from... and a lot of these ideas get reused later in 2018.
Yes. But you do you can understand though why she is an alcoholic and how she does have the horrific. Because I'm also reading right now the Final Girl survival group. I always mix up the words.
Final Girls
support group or something.
Yeah, support
and
group.
I just in my head I'm like, wow, like rewatching these, I'm like, the characters in this book really are so relatable and to understand. You watch Jamie Lee Curtis, her character, Laurie Strode, just having to relive this for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, shit. Like it happened. It was for this, in this continuity, it happened in what? What'd you say? 24 hours?
Yeah, it was like 2 days.
It was,
I think.
yeah, I'll say 48
days,
hours.
yeah.
And this 48 hours affects her till the day she dies.
Yeah. Speaking of Scream Queens, did you like that the one old lady who works for her is her real life mom, Janet Leigh? When they're leaving the yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was Janet Leigh.
Shit,
and then she even
that.
gets into a car and they play a little bit of the Psycho theme. So that,
How did I miss that? Holy
Crystal,
so
Crystal,
disappointed in
where
myself
can we
right now.
learn more about Psycho?
ooh, Patreon.
Well, yeah, that's where we did the commentary track for the remake, but we reviewed the original Psycho on this channel.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Channel and Patreon.
Yes, and we
I just
did
keep thinking of our freaking commentary of the newer
the
one.
remake, yeah,
Oh
which
my
you did not
God.
like. She had never watched. She went in blind to the Psycho remake. She did not enjoy it.
So angry at that.
So yeah, this is obviously 1997, I think. So you got our hot young teens. We got Michelle Williams, Josh Hartnett. The hot goth girl was really cute. She should have been in more big things. She's in a lot of things, but I liked her. Although the guy she's dating has the biggest nose in the world. I noticed that. But yeah, everyone is going on a trip.
Yep.
And poor John, like John Carpenter, he's not allowed to go because his mom is overprotective.
Yep.
But then she lets him go, but it turns out he wants to stay home and party with his friends. So he's actually going to play hooky and stay at the school.
Because he's also like, he's never really got to celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
So for this one Halloween that affected Lori so much, she just constantly keeps thinking it's going to happen again on Halloween. Why does she think that though?
And then like
I want to know that.
It is funny that he brings up, he's like, you said you watched him burn. She's like, I didn't stay to see his ashes. And it's like, did no one stay to see his ashes? Because like someone, like there would be a body.
Yeah.
It would be really, it takes
Some
a
type
while.
of bone, like you would see the teeth, you would
Yeah.
have something.
Yeah, and also since Donald, and actually she should be like, well, the fucking doctor lived and he was right at Point Break or Ground Zero where the explosion
Yeah.
was. So forgive me, I think Michael actually made it. And he's like, well, didn't you see him burn? And she should say, no, I saw a guy who happened to be wearing a fire suit walk out of the same room. I don't know what he was doing there.
Goodness. But yeah.
What is more disappointing in this film? Michael Myers' mask or Josh Hartnett's hair? And now keep in mind, there are 4 masks in this film. I did a video breaking that down too. I did a little short. So the movie starts, if you don't remember, the movie starts with the Halloween 6 mask,
Yes.
which they probably just should have used. Then they switched to, they did a K and B mask, which is actually in the background here, which is like pure white.
Yes.
K and B did that. That's actually the one you see in like a lot of the trailers and stuff. And then they did, I think, the Stan Winston mask, which is the prime mask they use for the whole film, for all the close-ups and whatnot. It is actually funny when Josh Hartnett is like behind the gate and Michael's like,
Yeah.
all the wide shots, it's the K and B mask, and then the close-ups, it's the newer one. And then did you notice the CGI mask? So when the big nose guy, after that really drawn out scene where you think he's gonna like get his hand chopped up in the garbage,
Yes.
he bumps into Michael and they CGI'd the Stan Winston mask onto the K and B mask, and it looks terrible.
I was
And it
wondering
looks
what
even
felt-
worse when you watch it in 4K.
I was wondering what felt off about that.
Yeah, where he's like,
Yeah,
It looks so
felt
bizarre.
Really odd,
That's-
and I couldn't tell why.
that was one of the problems with this film is like, you got to figure out the mask, guys, before you go into this.
Yes,
This is like an
please.
important.
How do you not? Like the whole thing is based off that. Like that.
And the fact that there's 4 masks makes it really distracting.
Listen, he had to do some costume changes,
Yeah.
so
I-
people didn't know.
I do think they show his eyes too much too.
I think they almost do that on purpose to show. Well, no.
He's always doing this.
Is it the same? We'll get to it.
Oh yeah, wait, how does he even have
Because-
eyes? This is a question for the other films. He was shot in the eyes in part 2. How does he have eyes?
There's a lot of questions. I have
Yes.
questions. We'll get there.
So,
'cause I didn't have all these questions while watching it, but now I do. Thank you so much, Tony.
Well, it's actually an entertaining film.
I really do like
Yeah.
this.
I like
really
her
this
stuff
film.
with her boyfriend,
Yes.
Jamie's boyfriend. I like her secret alcoholism. And I like that it builds up to this final battle between her and Michael where she gets to just let loose and beat the shit out of him.
That is what I wanted Halloween Ends to be.
Yeah.
This is the whole, I would say a good chunk. What would you say? Would you say like the last third of the movie is
Pretty
about
much,
between
yeah.
those two? That is what I wanted Halloween Ends to be.
Did you like his one-armed? When I did the work print of Halloween Resurrections, I realized that wasn't in there. So I think
really?
I think if I remember right, someone was like, "No, you got to put the one-armed thing in there. That's cool as shit." Yeah, that final battle is really cool.
It's real. The whole thing of it's
Yeah.
just.
I love LL Cool J's subplot. His subplot's pretty
I love
great.
him. I think
He's trying to write a romantic romantic novel, and he's constantly calling his girlfriend. She's giving him notes, and the whole movie you think he's gonna get killed. Then he gets shot on accident.
which is interesting because
Yeah.
he was out. Like
Yeah.
he was out, and like sure. At the end, it says the bullet
Well,
grazes
fun
him.
fact: the TV cut of this,
Yeah.
he's dead.
Really?
They don't ever show him alive, if I remember right. So
But that is wait.
yeah,
But he grabs her at the towards. It's not like he just randomly shows back up. He helps her get out of that.
no, I think he's dead in that version. I'd have to
Then
watch
what
it
did
again.
they? Yeah. Then how did she?
That's a good point. I have to watch my video again to see if I'm wrong. Anyway, I like LL Cool J in this. I mean, he
He's
was
really
kind of
good.
thrown in there because you got to throw a musician in these. They did
And it's also like it's a comedy relief.
They were
aspect
doing
of
that
it.
a lot because what was it called? The sequel to I Know We Did Last Summer. I think put Brandy in there.
Mhm.
They were doing that for a while. They eventually threw a Destiny's Child into a slasher film.
Yep.
But yeah, this film is very 90s.
It's extremely 90s.
It's very 90s, but I think it's pretty well made. I mean, it still has all the issues I have with the other films. Like, oh, look, I could buy that he's just a tough guy in the first one, but after a while, I'm like, how is he so invulnerable to everything? How did he survive the fire? Like,
I mean, if you listen to Loomis, like, I'm sure in the other ones that don't exist in this,
Yeah.
on the fourth, like, he's not human, he's not human, he's not human.
yeah, I guess so.
And I guess if you're kind of already, that is in your head, you're kind of already thinking that he's not human. In
I
this.
guess so.
That's the
I guess
only
so.
thing I can justify, even though they killed
Um,
that aspect later.
It's got some decent kills. That girl getting her leg cracked.
Oh my God,
that
the
like
elevator
that hurts to watch.
Oh,
And he
yes.
slices her up.
I love the kills in this.
Dude, the nurse's neck as she's screaming and the blood pours out. I like poor
Yes.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets escaped through the head. You don't see it, you see the aftermath of it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I think the kills in this are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The suspense between Laurie and Michael, I think, is exactly what is needed.
Mhm.
The long fight scene.
Yeah. And then
This is what should have the last trilogy that has been out
Yeah.
should have been. Why they didn't take note on this, I
Well,
don't.
we'll get to that in a second. But like I do like where you think
I
the
like-
movie is gonna end.
Yeah.
You're like, this is how it always ends. And I do like that Laurie's like, no, I gotta make sure I drive him out. Like I have to make
As
sure
if none
I'm
of
the
the
one
other
who did it.
cops though had guns.
Yeah, that was the funny thing.
That would, but I think at that point they're just like, I think it was just, the only way I can justify that is that they are so shocked that she's like taking advantage. Like, holy fuck, where the hell did she get this guy? Like, what is she doing? She just went through all this trauma. Okay, we're just gonna let this happen because you don't see cops chasing her. You don't see
No.
any of this. You're
Yeah,
just
that's
like-
another thing. They would have chased her. They're like, hey, can we at least escort you? Like,
But I think
you
they're
know,
just, like,
in case you fall off a goddamn hill. I mean, you do hear them at the end, so they weren't too far behind.
They were, and she was like
So Michael,
hardcore driving them.
Yeah.
and I think maybe like they were in shock.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, what the? I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone else would be like, what the fuck just happened?
so yeah, it's cool to see her come back, and you do get a satisfying fight, and then you get that wonderful finale where the fucking van pins Michael Myers, and you're like, oh, is she gonna give in? Even though that'd be stupid.
Oh yes.
And she fucking
With the
slices that
fans.
shit off. And I love the sound effect, the beep from the first one. The theme kicks in. And then she's
Great ending.
breathing. And it's really, really good.
Great ending.
The fun fact, the beginning of Resurrection was already planned when they did this.
That's what I
She-
wanted to know.
She, in her interview, she wanted to chop his head off. She really wanted to try and kill him. And then eventually they had to cave. And they were like, hey, Mustafa Khan will not let him die. So she came up with this compromise. She's like, at least make it seem like I killed him in this one. But if there is a sequel, it's revealed that he switched bodies. And then I have to die. And then I'm done. She said, I'm doing one more and then I'm done. And I'm never coming back to Halloween.
Lies. So I do want to know, though, are those different eyes in the mask?
No, it's the same stunt, man.
I wish, because that's what I was curious, because like you said, they show the eyes a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they look like the same, because in that scene, you really see the eyes. And I know that's almost like the point.
Yeah. And he looks like he's evil. He's like,
Yeah, like, yeah.
There were some versions of the script where he was going to talk.
Oh, thank God they didn't do that.
He was going to say Laurie. I think I read one where he gets impaled in the heart. And then there was another one, I think, that a helicopter cut him in half. And I guess they were like, well, that's all. The budget's getting a little high. Let's lower that.
But at least change the eyes or something and make it, because there's so many horror films where that actually happens, where you think that's the killer, but they actually switch bodies.
Yeah.
There's a few of those, but you can also see
Valentine.
Perfect.
Valentine.
Where you can see you can see the action of the person in the costume.
It's
You're
a
like,
little
this isn't
different.
me. This isn't me. Like you can see something's off, but that.
Well, of course, in this
adrenaline-
one, they wanted you to think it was Michael Myers.
But the eyes are the same.
I bet you they were hoping, like, please don't make a sequel to this. Please don't make it. And then they did.
But if you already had Resurrection in your brain, you would think you would change the eye. Like, give me.
No, I think it was more
something.
important that they made this feel self-contained. They were not too worried about the sequel. They came up with that compromise, but I don't think they were really banking on it happening. But yeah, it's a feel-good, fun action film. It's fun to watch 1, 2, and then this is way better than 2. It's way more entertaining than 2.
2 is boring to me.
2 is boring.
But I do think 4 is even more boring to me.
4 is a better lead character. Jamie is just kind of in a coma for most of 2. So
Yeah, I know. She's in the hospital.
Here she gets to do stuff. And yeah, and like I said, the seeds in this were planted for Halloween 2018, where they revisit a lot of these ideas. And like I said, I think they did 2018. I like more than this. I feel like it does this idea much better. It gets rid of the brother-sister thing. And they have an awesome fight in that one. That ends with her killing him. The problem is they made sequels, which we're about to talk about.
I don't remember what I said about the 2018 one, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I like it. It's my favorite of the sequels now.
Really?
Yeah. My count separating part 3.
Yeah.
But no, this one's a good time. This one is a good time. It's pretty stupid. Again, just stick with the original. But if you're gonna go, if they're out of all the Halloween continuities, this is one of the better ones that you can end here. And well, obviously it gets even better with Resurrection because I
love Resurrection.
Because as we all know, I'm the #1 res tard here, and I love Halloween Resurrection. I was afraid to say that a year ago, and now I don't fucking care. So Halloween H2O, solid. People always say, oh, that was that one good one. It was that way. Remember that one good one?
Yes.
The one where Jamie came back. That one good one.
Yeah.
And then they did Resurrection. That goes away. They do the remakes. Those go away.
Yes.
They bring Jamie back for 2018. Talked about that next year. And then they made a sequel. Now, we have a full review for Halloween Kills.
Okay, I was going to ask you this when I came in here. You're going to have to just... I cannot remember what happened in Halloween Kills.
Oh.
How does it start? Just so I can remember.
Hold on.
I don't... The first, the
Hold on,
second,
I'll read
and the
the thing.
third, first... Okay, thank you. Because I cannot remember which one this is.
The Halloween night when Michael Myers returned isn't over yet.
Yeah.
Michael manages to free himself from Laurie Strode's, Jamie Lee Curtis, trap to resume his ritual bloodbath as Laurie fights for her life from injuries from her last encounter with Michael. She inspires her daughter, Karen, Judy Greer, granddaughter, Allison, Andy Matichak, and all of Haddonfield to rise up against their unstoppable monster, the vigilante mob, then sets out to hunt Michael down once and for all. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Do you remember that part?
I remember
the
that
part where they
part.
go, evil dies tonight.
I think this and is this the bar?
Yes.
Got it.
This is the one with the bar. This is the one that
Okay,
starts.
now I'm like, okay, now I'm remembering the order of these because
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, the way I have to remember this is the first one is the trap house, which I do truly love.
Yes.
I love watching her. Once again, it's reminding me of the book that I'm reading right
Yeah.
now, where it's like, I will fight like this, like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, and then they
Love
made
that.
and then they made a sequel.
Made the sequel, and then the other one is the boyfriend one. Okay.
Yes,
And
and then-
I know where I'm at now.
So when this came out, I had a good time with it. I thought it was ridiculous, but it wasn't great. I don't think you liked it at all,
no.
if I remember right.
Yeah, I was mad.
There's cool stuff in it, him fighting the firefighters and stuff, but like after how good 2018 was, the fact that they went and just made it as schlocky as hell, and in my mind, because they had multiple movies planned, and I think they had to add a third movie in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they had a plan. I feel like Halloween Ends might have been where they wanted to go, and that might have worked better with a copycat and stuff with the way 2018 ends. But they're like, oh, we got to do one in between that, and I feel like they just grasped at straws.
They did.
And we talked about, I think it like kind of tried to be like the other films. Like they worked in the town hunting Michael Myers down and killing someone on accident from part 4.
Is this the one where they were in the park and there was the car?
They were the park. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
slowly walk.
Yeah, where they like
Okay,
kind of killed the girl,
yes,
kills herself
yes.
on accident.
Okay,
They brought back-
I am slowly remembering how
They
much
brought
I hate
back
this
the
film.
legacy characters like Nurse Marion, who like wastes all her bullets and then forgets how many
Yes.
bullets she has, and then she gets killed a
Yes.
second time.
This is for Dr. Loomis.
The kills are just dumb. He
Funny
walks
enough,
so slow.
only-
Everyone could have survived.
Only little Lindsay Wallace is the only one who has survived every encounter with Michael, besides Jamie in this continuity.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Lindsay Wallace, she's the only one. She survives every single one. They brought back more legacy characters like them. They brought back Tommy, played by a different guy. But they brought back Sheriff Brackett, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
He's like 100 years old. So since we've reviewed this, the extended cut has come out. And
I didn't see the extended cut.
yeah, not much is different.
Okay.
They add a few things. It's got a different ending.
What's the ending?
The ending, actually, you saw it in the trailer.
Oh.
The ending, Lori calls her daughter, which is how, remember the original one? She calls her daughter, and
Yeah.
then Michael's just breathing. And this one,
Ending
Mike,
in the window?
yeah,
Okay,
Michael,
this is the window one. Yeah.
yeah, Michael picks up the phone, and she hears him breathing, and she's like, "I'm fucking coming for you." And then she walks out of the hospital with a knife. They deleted it because they didn't want people to think that the third movie would also be on the same night.
Oh,
Yeah, this movie's
gotcha.
very schlocky. It's very dumb. I still really enjoy it to a degree. But yeah, it's a huge step down after 2018.
Yes.
It just felt like this whole movie feels like filler. They're like, let's just do a bunch of crazy shit before we get to the movie we really want to do. Jamie Lee Curtis, again, like Halloween 2, is bedridden for most of it. She doesn't even interact with Michael, which could be a cool idea. Didn't work for you, obviously.
It didn't. It didn't.
Yeah, it kind of undermines the first one a little bit. But luckily enough, 2018 is self-contained enough. You can watch that by itself as an open and closed thing. So these sequels don't actually ruin that movie for me, which I talked about when we did Halloween Ends. Like it's good enough on its own.
It's, yeah, I mean, it does have a couple cool kills, but
And this is really, this kind of movie is kind of like for really big Halloween nerds like me with all the references and shit that they did.
sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
there's
I
tons of references. and
Which
it's
I
fun.
appreciate, but I didn't really need.
I don't think it's a necessary film.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Yeah.
all. I think after seeing Halloween Ends, though, I think it's just like one of those things where
Yeah.
I'm not as angry at this because I'm
Mm-hmm.
angrier at Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do appreciate that they're like, you know what, if we're gonna be dumb and stupid, let's just get as gory as possible.
Yeah.
I still think the whole town going crazy doesn't work.
No, I don't either.
The amount that they're overreacting to this,
yeah.
because again, part 2 didn't happen in this universe.
No.
So the amount that they're overreacting to him killing just a few people, like the whole they make it
Yeah.
seem, and I think I said this at the time, they make it seem like this happens every year.
That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like Halloween, everything. It's same thing as what we were just saying about like H2O. Like It just happened one Halloween.
Well, with H2O, he's been missing for 28 years, and he's been out there.
He's been out there, but
Yeah.
does he only murder on Halloween? We don't know that.
I don't know.
for
But we
this-
see that whole room of just dead bodies that we are to assume are his.
Yeah, but is it just in H2O, it just happens to come back on Halloween? Is that just a coincidence?
I guess so. I don't know.
Or did he plan out, like, I'm going to wait 20 years? I'm going to wait
Well, I think he was
20
looking.
years on Halloween.
I think
Sure,
he was like looking for her, yeah.
But did he wait for Halloween? Did he, because the whole thing of the son also being 17 had to be a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence. It's just
Yeah,
a fun
but for
coincidence.
her, it's her thinking, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
for-
Halloween's just his thing, but he does kill on other days too.
But it's only, no, but for this one, Halloween Kills, is this
It's the same night as 2018.
it's the same night as 2018?
Yeah.
So it just happens to be Halloween again.
Yes. He broke out. They were transferring him right around Halloween, but remember his doctor broke him out.
Yes, but
Yeah.
and then just happens. Okay, I can see like the doctor. Okay, this is Halloween, Michael. Go ahead, do it again.
Yeah.
But this isn't. It's not a consistent. Oh, this happens every Halloween.
I know. The way the town is acting, it's ridiculous. It's like, all right, no one would be that upset. A lot of people probably weren't even alive for that shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, I think I heard of that. Like, they wouldn't be doing that shit. But, you know, Tommy does his whole speech about fear and whatnot. One thing I do like is him and Lonnie became friends because they bullied each other in the first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this movie is full of characters doing the dumbest things possible.
It is.
The dumbest things possible. But you get more cameos from the masks, at least. The Halloween 3 masks.
Yes, you do.
Decapitates one of those kids, I think we're to assume. But yeah, so how many times have you revisited this since you first saw it? I guess just once for ends, or
No, I don't think I've revisited it at all. That's why I'm having trouble right now, being like, wait, which one was this? Oh yeah, it's that one. And like my
Yeah.
brain is flashing to scenes that I remember.
I think I
like,
was
not
upset
really
because I was like, wow, you could have, if you wanted to do another one, this could have been a part 3. Instead, it was more sequel bait. I'm like, okay. And yeah, the 2018 did make him feel like a guy again, a very tough guy that's hard to kill. But then this, I'm like, all right. And not to plug again, I did a commentary track with Good Bad Flicks. Me and Cecil did a commentary track for this. And we mentioned in that commentary track, they're like, so the more because they said like each kill he does transcends him and makes him stronger. Like, is this like Wolverine level rage? The more he kills, the more hulked out he gets.
Which is fine. If you want to go that route, then go.
Yeah.
But then the next movie.
Yeah, the next movie had to downplay that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like, he's getting stronger again, but he's clearly just a guy.
Look, I will say
He's
this
just
might
an
be
old
one of the
guy.
most fun Halloween sequels. It's fun to just put on. The music's really good. John
Oh, I
Carpenter.
don't mind it in the background.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I'm like sitting there and
Something's
something on
always
the TV.
happening, whether
Yeah.
it's dumb as hell or interesting.
I
Something's
think-
always
I
happening.
think this is a good background TV or movie.
I feel like the
good background.
firefighters just saved him. Apparently, smoke inhalation isn't a thing. Heat exhaustion just isn't a thing.
No,
Michael
no,
could
no, no.
survive all of that.
Yeah.
But
He
yeah.
survives everything else. Why not?
But anyway, we have talked about 4 movies that are Halloween 3. So Halloween
have.
3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, Halloween H2O, Halloween Kills. Now, we all know
lot.
that the best one overall is Halloween 3, probably. Some people might disagree with us.
Sure.
What is before we do worse, what is
Okay.
your favorite that has Michael Myers?
Out of the third,
Out of the ones
right?
with Michael Myers, what is your favorite that has Michael
out
Myers?
of the 3. Okay, great. I say H2O. I say H2O.
Years
Absolutely,
ago,
yes.
I would have said 4, but now, yeah, H2O.
I think it's H2O because I
Yeah.
just love, and I have a feeling the reason why I am more persuaded towards that one is after this trilogy, that is what I wanted to see. So my heart actually goes, if that trilogy didn't exist, I would have been like, okay, you know, it's okay. Like, I think it's because it's just what I wanted.
Yeah.
It's that fight. It's H2O is everything I wanted from a sequel.
Yeah.
Of Laurie and Michael.
And it's
The
a
story
big
of
deal, her
Laurie and
coming
Michael.
back. Like, unlike other Final Girls, maybe the only other one I could think of that really got popular was Nev Campbell. Like Final Girl's coming back. Like when Nancy came back for New Nightmare, it wasn't like that big of a deal because she's a great actress, but she didn't blow up to like Jamie Lee's level.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool to see her come back. I think that is my favorite out of the ones
yes.
with Michael after Halloween 3. Now, I think we already know. What is your lead? What do you think is the worst Halloween Part 3? I guess it's between 4 and Kills.
I would have to say Kills. I
Okay.
have to say Kills because 4 does keep a lot of the original feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It does have the original look to it, which I do like to watch more than 4. It's more of what would I prefer to watch?
So you're going Kills is the worst.
I'm going with Kills is the worst.
Man,
yeah.
you really don't like that movie.
It's not horrible. It's not horrible. I'm not saying it's
It's
horrible.
not the
but
worst thing ever.
It's not. But if I'm comparing, if what I want to watch right now, if you gave me the choice of Halloween 4 versus Halloween Kills, I would say I would rather watch Halloween 4. But it might also depend on my mood. Like, if I want something just in the background and lots of random gore and kills and people screaming, evil dies tonight, then I'll put on Kills.
I'm trying to think.
It's a little difficult actually, because it depends on what you're going from.
Between 4 and Kills, yeah.
It's a little difficult because you're like, what do I want to see?
You know what? I think I'll agree with you. Kills is probably the worst, even though I don't hate it that much.
But why do you think?
Okay, so Halloween 4, like I said, is a sequel to Halloween 2, which I'm not really thrilled about.
Yeah.
And it's got a really good lead with Jamie Lloyd, Daniel Harris.
Yes.
And I like the family, but Michael's kind of, even though I like George P. Wilbur, he came back as Michael later on. Michael's kind of just meh in it.
Meh in it.
The kills aren't great, but also the scares aren't great. I like the attempt at being like subtle and like building suspense. I don't think it ever really worked. There's a lot of confusing things picking up from 2, like how are they alive? That's a whole problem. But I think because like 4 just felt like just another sequel, like whatever. Kills, for me, I'm like, okay, this is a sequel to a Halloween movie I really liked. And I'm like, oh man, it just kind of squandered a lot of that goodwill I had to the previous one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always like, when it's just another bad sequel, it's whatever.
That's what, yes.
But when it's like, wow, that was really good. What's the follow-up? And it's like, it hurts a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like, do you prefer the safe sequel or the bad sequel?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'll give Halloween Kills credit for trying something,
It's
I guess.
exciting.
I mean, it reused a lot of the ideas, kind of like 2018 did, but this one was like, okay, let's reuse a lot of the ideas from the sequels.
Yeah.
And when I view it as just a parody of like bad Halloween sequels, it's kind of fun. But yeah, I think 4 is overall the better made movie, even though the story isn't really great. It works a little bit better.
Yeah, it's more understanding.
The town militia in 4, even though I guess they're also overreacting. Actually, no, because you find out in 4 that the police force is killed, so it's kind of on them. You kind of believe they're militia, even though it's equally ridiculous. More than Halloween Kills, you're like, why is the town like this? Is it just to fill time? Feels like it's just to fill time.
Yes, absolutely.
Halloween Kills has some really good action scenes, really great music, but most of it is just filler.
Yes, I agree.
So, yes, I guess Halloween Kills is technically the worst one, although it's probably the one I'm going to watch the most out of all of these going forward. But Halloween 3 obviously being the best, and Halloween H2O with Michael being the second best and the best one with Michael. So that was it.
Yay!
Our worst Halloween 3 film. We all agree it's Halloween Kills, which again, we have a full review of and a commentary track of.
Yes.
And Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is underrated. And also we have a commentary track for that.
So many commentary tracks.
So many commentary tracks. It's actually been a while as of this recording since me and you did a commentary track. I can't remember the last one we did.
Was it Psycho?
Was Psycho
way.
or The Thing, maybe.
No, Batman, the Batman.
Was The Thing before Batman? The Batman? Huh, maybe you're right.
I haven't done a commentary track since
All of 2023 you haven't done a commentary track?
Ever since our new old studio.
It's true. It's true.
I haven't done a commentary track.
We should do one at some
You
point.
just don't like me. It's fine. I get it. It's like how you decided to have Boys Month.
That was the fans.
Guys, what the fuck?
Am I going to get an apology? Say, sorry, we yelled at you for liking Barbie, Tony. We didn't know that your masculinity would be insulted and you would kick all the girls off the channel as punishment.
But guys, you also never had to sit next to Tony while watching Barbie.
It was a lot of fun.
I did. No.
Guys, it's such a relatable movie. Ryan
kept
Gosling
saying-
and me and Ryan Gosling are the same person. We both get seasick. So, yes, welcome to the month of October. We got so many more
October, the best
horror
month
themed.
ever.
That's another thing I got shit on for Boys Month, that I wasn't doing any horror. I'm like, I do horror all year round. I can't have a
But
month
don't
of
you get
action.
also yelled at for doing too much horror?
I also get yelled at for doing too much horror.
Can't
However,
win here. Liz.
I learned to ignore the people yelling at me for doing too much horror, because the views are better when I do more horror. When I do more action stuff, the views take a hit. So I now know which side to listen to. Whichever one hurts benefits me financially. So please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you think is the worst Halloween Part 3.
Yes.
And then I guess next year we'll come back for what is the worst Halloween Part 4.
So at that point,
which will be Halloween 5, Halloween Resurrection,
woo! I already know my pick.
and Halloween Ends. If you want a head start, we have reviewed Halloween Ends, and I've reviewed Halloween Resurrection on Movie Dumpster, but I've never reviewed Halloween 5, so that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
It's going to be a fun one, especially now with the new Blu-rays. They finally restored the original opening of that film, which makes, I mean, it's also dumb, but it makes more sense than the theatrical cut. So yes, check out that. We've got Freddy vs. Jason coming up this month, and more horror films that are not set in stone. So I'm not saying what they are at the moment. So goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.